Hello everyone, this is Sir Nuts and I'll be um, presenting you how to manually, with the help of the Excel, the computation of one-way ANOVA. So as you all know, I have already shared in our class what's the purpose of computing the one-way ANOVA, and I mean using the one-way ANOVA as an inferential statistical treatment. Again, your purpose is to find the significant difference among the three levels of your independent variable. So when you have an independent variable that has three or more levels and you want to find if there is a significant difference among them, um, especially in the test performance of the students, or rather basta or sorry, or whatever you want to find difference as long as it has a three or more levels. Okay, so I have prepared some of the steps that as a guide where you can use this book. This is my way, and I think when doing these things manually I can compute my desired no, I can compute in a more specific and more detailed way. So first is I have this row scores here, the teaching methods A and B, A, B, and C. So as you can see, there are three more levels I have. Three. It's actually three levels I have there. So and these under one independent variable, the teaching method. And these are the scores that they have obtained, and there's already mean. So for the meantime, let's delete the mean because we will start from the scratch. Let's find if the row scores of each group has a significant difference among them. Okay, or do they have significant difference from each other? So first is you calculate the mean, the one that I erased. So um, if manually we just add all these samples and then divided by the total number of the samples. So like 85 plus 78 plus 90 plus 82 plus 88. Or you can just pick there average, okay, and then highlight. You will have 84 points. Then same goes with the teaching B, teaching C. Okay, so again, when you do it manually, you add all of them and then divide it by the total number of samples in a group. Okay. Next, calculate the overall mean. So how do we calculate this? So we just have to add 84.6 plus the average of the second group, 82, and the average of the third group, which is 73. We will have, oh, sorry, that's only addition. Then, whatever the result, we have to divide it to the number of samples we add. So that is 3. You will have 79.87. Next, calculate the sum of squares within. When you say SSW, that is the sum of squares of within. And this is the sum of squares within area. So we want to find what will be our value here. But for the meantime, we cannot actually do it in one time computation. So we need to find first the sum of squares of each group. And to find the sum of squares of each group, we have to find the sum of the squares of each samples from the group. So like for this one, let's find the squares of 85. We have, sorry, no, squares. We need to do this like this. Please take note. Oh yeah, we have the formula here. I can just show you how to do it. We get first the difference of the first sample in its first group and then its own mean. So since the first sample in this group is 85, we will have it subtract with 84.6, or oh sorry. Then we will do this multiply by itself. So we can do it like this po. 0.16. So you do it from 85 times 85 minus 84.6, then multiply by itself. 878 minus 84.6, then multiply by itself. 90 minus 84.6, then multiply by itself. Okay, so don't forget that. That's how you do it until you reach the last number. So I will be putting $sign here so that when I drag it down, it will not be moved. Okay. Then when you have all these values, it's time to get the sum. Sum is the total of adding all these. Then you will have 19.2. Okay. Same process with the other group. So you find this. So you do it manually. With what I'm gonna do, I'll just move this one so that it will not be dragged down. It will not affect the formula. Same also with this. So what I'm actually doing is a cut. So you have to do it on your own, huh? Okay. So you can check if I'm correct. Okay. Okay. Very good. I'm correct. All the values of the difference of the first number or the number you want to find the difference with your own mean and then multiply it by itself. Then sum, you add all this together, then you will have the sum of squares of the group 2, and then do it also with the other one. Okay, so sum of squares of the group 3. Then since we have all the sum of squares of all the group, then it's time to get the overall sum of squares with of all the group. We will call it sum of squares within. So add this together. You can just manually do it, huh? Like 91 plus 178 plus 88. You will have 357.2. Okay, so we're done now. Let's find now the sum of squares between. How do you do it? So I have the formula here. First, we need to find the n. The n is the number of samples, so that's actually 5 in our given. And then we will multiply it, multiplied by itself. First, with the mean of the group, which is 84.6, minus what? The overall grand mean. What is our overall grand mean? 79.87. There. 79.87. Can we do this twice? Or you can just multiply it by itself. Okay. Then you will have this 111.86. Okay. Same process. First, what is the mean of the second group? 82 minus our overall mean. And then, actually, I'm just doing this separately, but you can just actually do this like 82 minus 79.87, then you multiply it by itself. 82, 82 minus 79.87. Oh, sorry, 82. 82. Okay, and then whatever the answer from the multiplied by itself, you don't forget to, please do not forget to multiply it also with the 5. Okay, that will be the last in multiplication. And this is for the second group. Now let's have the third group. Same process. Okay. Let's put the 5. I can remember it's 73, the mean of the third group minus our overall grand mean, 79.87. 73, sorry, minus 79.87. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So I just forgot to put another parenthesis, but it's still the same answer. Okay. Now, what's the next? Let's calculate the degree of freedom within and between. So how do you do it? There is already a formula there. So first, let's find the difference of the k. K is actually the number of groups. Since we have three groups, minus 1, so automatically it's 2. Next, degree of freedom within. This will be the n, the big N is the overall total number of samples. Since we have each 5, then 3 groups, so 5 times 3, okay, then that will be 15. Then minus natin sa 3 groups natin, you have 12. Then, let's compute the mean squares of within and between. So there's already a formula there. You just have to follow, like sum of squares between. What is our sum of squares between? It's here. This is the within, and then this is the between. Oh, sorry. This is the sum of squares. Oh, sorry. We forgot. There's no value of the sum of squares between. Okay. To get that, just add the 3 sum of squares between. So 111.86 plus 22.68 plus 235.98. You have 370.52. Let me just check this one if there's no more value. Oh, 99, so oh, 98. Okay, 98. Okay, so let's go back now on computing the mean sum of squares, that is MSSB, mean sum of squares between. So since the sum of squares between is 370.52, where we will divide it? We will divide it by what is our degree of freedom between this one? 2. So we have, oh sorry, forget the equal sign. Okay, 185.26. Now, same process, but this time we need the within. The sum of squares within, which is what? 357.2. Then divided by degree of freedom within. Well, we have 29.77. Then, almost there, we have the final answer now. Calculate the f stat value. So, how? This is a formula. You divide the MSSB 185.26 divided by with 29.77. And we will have 0.22, meaning this is now our final f stat value. Okay, are we done? Not yet. It's time to find the critical value. In finding the critical value, it's actually given. Okay, it's already given for what? With the table. But in finding the critical value, there should have first the alpha value, that is 0.05. So nag-iiba po yan. It differs depending on the need of your advisor. For the meantime, we need the 0.05. And we should have the degree freedom for 1 and the degree of freedom 2. Then how do we know which of these 2 degree of freedom, whether the degree of freedom between is the number 1 or the degree of freedom within is the number 2? So I have put there already. So the degree of freedom between is your degree of freedom number 1, while the degree of freedom within is the degree of freedom number 2. And the degree of freedom 1 is on the top and the degree of freedom number 2 is on the side. just as like this. So since our degree of freedom is 2, we will be checking here, and the degree of freedom 2 is 12. Okay, we will find it here. So it's already there, 3.89. But how? Wherever the degree of freedom 1 and the degree of freedom 2, which is 12 and the 2, wherever they intersect, that will be our critical value for our statistics. Okay, so 3.89. So reserve it. Don't forget 3.89. Then let's create a decision. So how do we do it? Our decision is from 0.05 degree of freedom between 2 and the degree of freedom within 12, and our critical F value is approximately 3.89. So our decision time is, it will just be comparison. So I have put there already, when we have the computed value that is greater than with our critical value, that is 3.89, we will reject the null hypothesis. But if our computation with the F value is less than with the critical F value, we will accept the null hypothesis. Now, cut shortly, in our example, since we have the calculated F value, which is 6.22, okay, 6.22, and it's greater than our critical value that we have found from the table, the F stat table, 3.89. So it's our decision. Is it on the top or the one we below? So we have the one, the upper one, the F stat, that is the computed F stat value greater than with our critical value. So what are we going to do with our null hypothesis? We will reject. And since we reject the null hypothesis, we will be concluding that there is a significant difference in the mean exams of scores among the three teaching methods. So that's it. So meaning there is really a significant difference from the three teaching methods, and we can also say that it's effective in improving the exam scores of the students. But there is also another condition that in statistics, that if it happened that we have significant difference results, meaning we reject the null hypothesis, we need to conduct a post hoc test. And in the post hoc test, one of the most common post hoc tests is the two keys. Okay, let me just, the name is two keys, HSD. HSD meaning honest, significant difference. Okay, that's the meaning of that. So if you use this, we can validate more our claim that there is a significant difference. Okay, so first we need to follow the format. This is our golden rule, that if our AHD, or if the okay, this is the golden rule. No. The MD is the mean difference. If the mean difference is less than our HSD, that will be that means it's significant, whether 2 or 3. So it's significant, meaning there's a significant. So how do we compute the HSD? We need this formula. Q is another symbol for critical value. So meaning critical value times the square root of the MS error is actually the mean squares within divided by samples, the total number of samples. Okay, so in our example, okay, where here. Since our critical value, okay, is 3.89, am I right? Yeah. And then we will multiply it to the square root of 29.77. Where is the 29.77 come from? It came from here. the MSS within 29.77. Okay, then divided by 5. Why 5? Because in our example, we only have 5 samples in a group. Then you will have 9.49, or we can just have there 9.49. Then if you want to compare, you have to put combination of comparisons, combinations of the two sets of comparisons, actually three sets of comparisons from the levels. Okay, so we can combine A and B, B and C, and C and A. So let's get the difference of each. Okay, we will find the mean difference. So we need the mean first. Since the mean of the teaching methods A, if you can still remember, is 84.6. Dito po galing yan. So we will just deduct it with 82, since the mean difference, the mean of the teaching methods B is 82. We will be obtaining 2.6. And the combination of B and C, B has the mean of 82 while the C has the mean of 73. So when we get the difference, we will have 9. And C has the mean of 84.6 and A has the mean of, I don't know, we cannot actually put 73 before uh, 84. So because we're only after with the mean difference. So we will put first A and then C. So 84.6 is the A minus the 73 of the mean of teaching method C. And we will be having 11.6. Now, this is the golden rule. The mean difference should be less than our honest significant difference. For the first one, it's less than 2.6 is less than 9.49, so it's significant. 9 is significant is less than with 9.49, so significant. However, the 11.6 is greater than with the 9.49, so not significant. It's okay because the overall interpretation for the significance, if we have two, then we will call it significant. Okay, and that's the same result with what we have a while ago. It's significant. But for formality, there is a big difference when we have these two sets of combination. So if there will be a significant effect, only between the C and A has the most significant effect or difference in the exam scores, but it's the extreme. So since A has the highest mean, so we will be having the teaching A as the one who contributed positive or most positive impact, while at the least teaching method C has the low performance to make difference since it has a lower mean 73 po. So this is how you interpret it. Like for example, if the panelist would ask you, is there a among the three levels, who has the most positive impact? Is it the A or the teaching method B or the teaching method C? So you need to do this a post hoc test and you will be able to find who has the most positive impact. In our example, teaching method A. So I hope you've learned something. I just do it in a shortcut way, but this is the most detailed actually, because if we will be doing it manually, it will take us days to finish this. Just kidding. Thank you for listening.